All right, dudes. Spent a couple minutes talking about some night vision stuff. I'm going to hit it from both the LV side and the citizen side potentially, and then you guys make your decision, man. I think the big thing here is anything night vision is going to be really expensive, and so like most things in life, we are going to purchase and buy the best that we can afford. So take that with a grain of salt, man. None of it sucks. It'll all work that way. Some of it sucks. But most of it's going to be just perfectly fine as long as you're buying something that is mainstream and that kind of a deal. So first thing, man, on the bucket here is night vision itself. What are you going to purchase versus what you're not going to. There's a couple things, man. And I think the big thing here to think about is there's a reason that all of the Tier 1 Special Operations Forces are going to forward tube systems, and so that should tell you a little bit about the single tube system. So PVS-14 obviously works. It has worked fine for a bunch of dudes for a long time. American servicemen have killed plenty of people with PVS-14, but a lot of people being killed with a damn revolver too, and nobody's carrying that around these days. So at a minimum, I think you need to have a dual tube system. White phos green, I don't give a shit as long as the figure of merit, the FOMA, is pretty high. Just trying to get the best quality that you can out of it. So there's benefits to a dual tube system. My depth perception is better. I get less headaches, less eye fatigue, less eye strain. Opens up some options, how I'm going to run my weapons, that kind of a thing, versus a single tube system. So if all you can afford is single tube, do a single tube up, man. If I'm Joe Citizen, I'm just going to go kill some hogs. I'll probably go single tube and just be done with it. If my expectation was that I was going to do something as far as clearing my house on a routine basis or something like that, then I would be looking to purchase dual tubes. Now, I might buy a single first and then work to a dual tube later, but you're going to find out very quickly that you want the dual tubes at a minimum, kind of a thing. So I got focus caps on these, storage of them, man. I make sure I put the caps on the back. Focus caps stay up so that I keep the primary lenses scratch free, and then always pull the battery out. If you have the battery cap on, even if it's turned off, it's energizing the tubes and potentially taking away from the 10,000 hours of life that you have on any night vision device. So that's first. Thing number two is going to be the bucket. If I was a citizen, I would probably just stick with a bump helmet versus ballistic. Save me a couple bucks that I can put toward better night vision. But if you got it like that, man, then just get a ballistic hat. Definitely want a good shroud interfaces with the mounting system. And just prevents a bunch of rattling around. The better shroud you have, the less you're going to get some rattling going on. If you do have rattling, you can just cut a piece of the fuzzy Velcro, stick it in there, and then mash that sucker down on it, and it'll typically take most of that out. So good shroud coming up. I like having a ton of passive stuff on me. So this is IR, IR right here, IR on both ear cuffs, IR tabs on the back. If somebody hits me with IR energy, it'll reflect, let them know, hey man, I'm not a guy you want to shoot tonight, kind of a thing. As a citizen, I don't know if you need any IFF at all, unless you're working with your wife or something like that. She also has it. It might be a good thing to have, but I don't know if you would need passive. You might just stick with an active IFF system. This is a Core Survival Hellstar 6. So that's it in the Viz mode. And then one more click and it gives me the big strobes going. And then up top here, you just run that thing down. It's now in IR mode. You can purchase this thing in a bunch of different configurations. It is strobing really bright IR right now. If I click it back down to where it was just green, that is the low mode. And it's manageable for people behind you wearing night vision, that kind of a deal. Got this light mount in the back. This thing is not out yet. Been working in conjunction with Unity Tactical and Rich Mason from Darcy. So this is a prototype, holds any light that attaches to a rail. So in this case, it's an X300V. I preset it white or IR energy, kick it on, then it's gonna bounce light off the ceiling for me. And it's obviously easy to pull off and use as a handheld. Got a straight IR illuminator on the side of the bucket. So if I stick that on, or anywhere I look, I'm throwing IR energy off, or I can pull it off, use it as handheld. And then the last thing is just a simple Princeton Tech. This one is red and white. It's not much white light unless you're using night vision. Then it's a tremendous amount of white light, but it's certainly enough, to let me do medical on a guy or something like that. So I'm not filling an entire room and potentially backlighting dudes out in the hallway, something like that. I also run a counterweight. So you weigh your night vision with battery in it. That tells you how much weight you want to put in your counterweight, and it's just meant to balance the helmet out. Some guys don't dig. I'm talking about neck fatigue and strain. But I ain't wearing it, 12 hours a night, 3 weeks in a row, that kind of a deal. So I want the balanced hat kind of a thing. All right, so talked about helmets a little bit there. One other thing, man, those harnesses like the Cry nightcap, the Gray Man harness, those are just basically a bunch of webbing and you stick your night vision on it. I have not tried them all, but every one that I have tried, the night vision is really floppy on it. So I would say they're non-starters. Go with a bump helmet if you can't afford a ballistic one. Obviously, I dig them all. Nice thing about them all is not just the power of the DA and the C1 Plus, which from the vision through night, from looking at it through night vision, it is way better than anything else that's out there. But it's also the ergonomics. So controlling them all with this switch right here, I'm in the low setting, which is going to fill me corner to corner. And then within that low setting, I also have two options to work in. Go to mid-range, same thing. Now I get a little bit more throw, but it's still enough to work inside of a house without having to mess with things. And so, yeah, you know, guys say, it's expensive. Well, yeah, it's expensive, man. It's because it's cutting edge crap, and the ergonomics are superior to anything else that's out there. So as a example, I have a PEC 15 here. You know, obviously the button being on top, dead center kind of a deal. So you may have to adjust your grip of how you're touching the gun to get after it. I have my IR and Viz pointers on this side, and then this is the illuminator side. Excuse me. And this kind of works like an old mag light, where to open and close the beam, you just rotate this thing around, and then it'll open and close like an old flashlight, man. Or you can take your diffuser and kick that over it. And what it does is the laser hits this thing. It's just kind of a filter system, and then diffuses the laser out to kind of give you a bigger flood of light in the room. And I hate it because it has a sparkle effect to it. It just doesn't look like clean energy to me. Versus the Mall on low, when I'm in a room and hit that thing, it fills the space up from corner to corner. And it's just a lot cleaner view to work on. Also, the switching on these, you pretty much have to know where each setting is as you're clicking through them, kind of a deal to get what you want under night vision. And with Mall, bigger controls are easier to get to, so I could snap it back into Viz mode if I wanted to fairly quickly, versus that where I'm trying to click it with gloves on, that kind of a deal. It just seems to be a better system, so there's that. That helmet light I talked about, man, that one's an X300V. This was the early prototype, magnetic, and this is just a Streamlight TLR VIR, which gives you both white and IR energy, which is pretty cool. Last thing, mounts, man, don't skimp on this part. You know, Wilcox is making the best stuff out there. You know, they just don't make a lot of noise. They don't rattle. They seem to last a long time. Which kind you get, Dovetail or Anvis, I don't give a shit, man. Pick one, whatever's cheapest for you. They're both going to work as long as it's a quality mount. And then last thing to consider, potential for the cops, would be if you're going to go to a complete night vision operations, that kind of a deal, then all of your stuff needs to get transitioned over. So in my case, breaching shotgun needs to be both white and IR energy. And then our chemical agent guns, less lethal guns, all that stuff also needs to be set up for night vision ops, so that if we were under night vision, we didn't have to kick on white light energy to make things work. So this is a D-Ball PL. It's everything in one. If I want the white side, hit the bottom button of it, and you can see it get a green laser and a white light coming on. And if I want the IR button, I just kind of roll the gun over and kick it on. It's got a little indicator light in the back that pops on to let me know it's on, and then double bump it to get it to come on. So nice thing about this, man, with night vision on, it's really hard to get down behind your optic to aim the gun. So if I come up under night vision, IR it on, I'm automatically getting the pointer. I don't need the pointer to shoot doors because I'm just touching them and doing work. But as that door's swinging open, now there's an armed bad guy right there. There's no room to get a cover guy out. So I would just come up with a shotgun and give him some breaching rounds to the pump house and see how he likes that. But I got to have a way to aim it. And so even though I have a Steiner MRDS on the side of the gun, it's really short to the gun. So under night vision, when I try to mount it, it's just hard to pick up. So a Viz laser is better, just like when I'm running my carbine kind of a deal. Just look for the laser. Laser goes, that's where I'm shooting. So anti-personnel, anti-canine concerns, I want to have an aiming device on the shotgun. So kind of it down and dirty deal. For citizens, PVS 14, bump helmet, and then your laser device, you probably get by with something a little bit less expensive that's still good, like a D-Ball D2 is a solid choice. And actually any of them would be a solid choice, man. They all kind of work. For the LE guys, man, make the boss buy the right stuff, man. Your life depends on it. If you're going to be doing full spectrum work, you want the best that you can get to. So if you got questions, comments, anything, let me know, and I'll try to answer them on the site.